Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you this bridal makeup look. It's wedding season, so I figured why not. And if you are a bride and your wedding has been affected by COVID, just know that you're in my thoughts and prayers, and my heart goes out to you because girl, I know this amount of stress and the money that it takes to put on a bomb-ass wedding. So for it not to happen, or if you had to postpone it, that really sucks. And I genuinely feel for you. So this video is for you especially. But if you want to see how to get this bridal look, then just keep watching. Before we begin, I just want y'all to know how much self-control I have, especially right now, because I'm dying to get up and go get some coffee, but it's like 8:30 p.m. here, and I know if I do that, that's gonna be a bad idea. I have an addiction, but I'm not giving it up, so oh well. That reminds me, do you guys remember the part in Sex and the City where Carrie is standing on the balcony smoking, but she's not allowed to be smoking up there? And one of the guys notices that she's doing that, and he goes, "Hey, you can't be smoking up here." And she goes,
"I have an addiction, sir."
Yeah, that's me with coffee. Okay, so I already went ahead and did one of the eyes off camera, so I'm gonna do the other one right now with you all here. But before I get into the shadows and whatnot, first tip of the day, especially on your wedding day, prime your lids. You need to make sure that you're priming your lids for the shadow that you will be using, because that's going to ensure that it lasts all day, all night, which is what you want because you're going to be taking pictures, so you want to look your absolute best. To prime the eyes, you can either use one of two things. You can go ahead and use an actual eyeshadow primer, or you can go ahead and just use your concealer. Whatever works for you, whatever your preference, I don't care. Just make sure that you are priming them. And today, for my eyes, I'm just going to go ahead and use my concealer. I'm using the Morphe Full Coverage Concealer. Go figure. It's whatever. This, again, doesn't have a shade. We're just going to go ahead and call this Pale Ass White, because that's what it is. Pale Ass White. Okay, so I'm going to take my concealer and just put a little on. Also, the good thing about primer is it will, if the primer has any coverage, obviously concealer does, but if the primer you're using has any coverage, it's good because it'll hide any veins or discoloration your eye might have, and it creates just a clean canvas to work with on the eye. After you do that, you're going to want to set it, because if you try to apply shadows and your primer or concealer is too tacky, you want it a little tacky, but you don't want it so tacky to where your shadows start skipping, if you know what I mean. They will not blend well if it's too tacky. So I'm just going to use my setting powder and just lightly go over that concealer. Now it's time to go in with the shadow, and the palette I'm using for today's look is the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, Volume 1. I love this palette. It's so pretty, and look. Mine's kind of dirty, but just ignore that. Look how pretty these colors are. You can do so many looks with this. You can do like a soft and sultry look, or take it dark and smoky and sexy. So we're gonna dip into this today. Okay, I'm gonna be taking this. This is the JH31 brush. The first two shades I'm gonna go in with are these two right here. I'm gonna combine them. When applying shadows, you want to make sure that you're not going in too heavy-handed, because it gets out of control and then very hard to blend. So you want to make sure that you are building up the color as you go. Also, you want to start out with your lightest. You want to go from lightest to darkest with the shades. You never want to start with the dark color. Going from lightest to darkest will give a nice gradient effect to your eye and make it look like it has more dimension, if that makes sense. So again, I'm gonna just put this in the crease. Also, I'm sweeping it up and toward the brow. That's gonna make your eyes look more awake and bigger. And it'll give the cat eye effect. Also, when you're applying your shadows, especially if you have smaller eyes, you want to make sure that you're not blending it all the way into the inner corner, because blending it all the way in here is going to close off the eye and make it look even smaller, and you don't want that, especially on your wedding day. Stopping right here and blending it this way will make it look bigger and you'll look more awake. So, little tip from me to you. These shadows don't have names. I mean, they do, but the paper that had the names on them, I lost. So I actually think I threw it away by accident, but that's okay. This is a really good palette though, and the shadows blend so well. Also, when you're applying shadows, you want to make sure that you're holding your brush back far enough, because this is going to give you the most control over how your shadow is placed. And it's easier to blend this way rather than if you were to hold it way up here like a pencil. Okay, now I'm going to go in with a tiny blending brush, and this is the JH34. I'm going to dip into these two colors right here. I'm putting these two colors right on the outer corner and blending it up into the crease, kind of where we put the first two shades, but not as high. Also, I'm going to sweep it towards the brow again. And then to darken out the outer corner even more, I'm going to be taking this shade right here. I'm just adding the tiniest amount because we don't want to go too crazy, but I just want to give more dimension. Ooh, I just remembered another tip. So, on your wedding day, make sure that you or whoever's doing your makeup does your eyes first. That way, if they're touching your face or if you have any fallout, you can just, wipe the fallout away or not have to worry about disrupting your face makeup. So always do your eyes first. And then I'm gonna take this blending brush by Millie, and I'm just going to blend everything out very softly, just to make sure there's no harsh lines and to make everything look nice and seamless. And then for the inner lid part, I'm going to be taking this Diamond Lights finisher by Artist Couture in this shade Spotlight Glitz, and I'm just going to apply that very softly. You don't want too much. This can get a little crazy. I will tell you right now, this has fallout. This has a lot of fallout, so just be aware. But it's so pretty. And then what you're gonna want to do to clean up all the fallout is take a makeup wipe and just gently run it under the eyes and clean up that shadow. Okay, so since the eyes are done, I'm gonna go do my brows off camera and put on some lashes, and I will be right back. Okay, so brows and lashes are on. The lashes that I chose for this look are by Lashaholic. They're in the style Instaglam. I think I got these in a BoxyCharm a while ago, but I like them. They look really pretty with this look, so. Okay, let's get into the face part of this look. But before I do all of that, I want to just quickly talk about skincare real quick, because it's important to make sure that your skin is clear, and just you want glowing, clear, beautiful skin as much as possible on your wedding day for pictures and stuff. And to achieve that, you need a good skincare routine, morning and night. Now, if you already have one, great, that's fine. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what works for you. If you don't have one yet, but you're looking to start, I suggest that you start a skincare routine 6 to 8 months before your wedding. That will give the products enough time to start working, and it will give you enough time to see what works, what doesn't, what you need to change, without having to rush last minute and worrying about if it's going to make your skin react in a not so good way. So, also, another tip, you need to, you don't need to, but it's good to exfoliate the night before or even the morning of your wedding, just so you can get rid of the dead skin cells, and that in return makes for flawless looking makeup. So as long as you have a good skincare routine and you are exfoliating regularly, you're going to be good to go. All right, so let's get into the face. The first thing that you're going to want to do, just like I told you with the eyes, you're going to want to prime your skin. This is going to make sure that your foundation lasts the entirety of the day. You want to make sure that you're using a primer that suits your skin type. So if you're oily, you're going to want one that combats the oil. And if you're dry, obviously, you're going to want a more hydrating one. I am combo. So today I'm going to be using 2 primers. I'm going to go in with this Tatcha Silk Canvas primer. I love this primer. It makes my makeup look and feel so good on the skin. I can't say enough about this, but it is stupid expensive. So there's other primers out there that work just as well. You don't need this one. I just am obsessed with Tatcha products, so I have it. Another really great primer to use is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. Smashbox is known for their primers, so if you haven't used this, you might want to check it out and try it for yourself, because I really like this, especially for my T-zone area, because that's where I get oily the most. So, oh, and then one more primer. I'm not going to use it today, but I used it in my last video. It's the Cover FX Blurring Primer. That's also a really good one to use. So I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna first take the Tatcha Silk Canvas, and I'm gonna go in with that one. I take that about that much on the finger, and I just rub it in. Then I'm going to take the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer, and I'm just going to focus this on the areas I get oily. So just my T-zone area. Now, after you're primed, you want to go in with your foundation. Another tip, when you are searching for your perfect foundation, make sure that you buy one that does not have SPF in it, because if you wear one that has SPF, you are going to have a white cast on your face in all of your pictures, and nobody wants that. So make sure you get one that doesn't have SPF. A good one, the one I always recommend, is this Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation. This shit looks phenomenal in pictures, and it looks amazing on your skin. So highly recommend this one. I was gonna use this one today on my skin, but this is in my tan shade, and yeah, I'm not, no. A couple other really good foundations, if you don't want to use that one, Estee Lauder Double Wear, and the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. I think that's what it's called. That one's stupid expensive though, so I mean, you know what? You could always just get a sample and use that. That would be smart, and you wouldn't have to pay. So I recommend that. But I highly, highly, highly recommend this one. So today, since the only foundation I have in my shade is Clinique, I'm gonna use that one, the Even Better. Don't use this one though, because this has SPF 15. So don't do what I'm doing, but I just have to use this because it's all I have right now, folks. And then I'm going to take a drop of this Maracuja oil by Tarte. Again, I used this in my last video. You want that, like, you don't want to look too overly highlighted on your wedding day, but you want to have like that glow from within look, if you know what I'm talking about. So this will help with that. But I don't recommend this if you have super oily skin. Okay, and now another tip. When applying your foundation, you want to start off little by little and build up from there. You don't want to go in heavy-handed, because that's how you create cake face, and that's not gonna look good. So start out with a little at a time and just build up wherever you need coverage. I'm gonna use this beauty blender from Hank & Henry. I swear I sanitized this the other day, and it just it's stained, so. Okay, so foundation is on, Now we're going to move into concealer, and you want to make sure that you're using full coverage concealer, but one that's not going to be too drying under the eye. So today I'm going to go in with my Morphe ones. Now I'm going to use two. One is closer to my skin tone, and one is one shade lighter. The going in with one shade lighter will, especially under the eyes, it's going to open them up and make you look more awake. I'm going to start off with the one that's basically my skin tone. Then I'm going to take the lighter one, and you don't want too much. I'm just going to put one little swipe. Like that. Blend that shit out. You want to bring it back towards the temple. So now that our concealer is down, we're going to want to set that so there is no creasing happening, because nobody likes a creased under eye or a creased forehead. No, 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 girl. So I'm going to take my Hourglass Veil Translucent Powder, and I'm just going to set those areas. Now, the areas that you tend to get more oily, you're going to want to set those even more than you normally would. So I get oily right here, so I'm gonna set that like that. I'm gonna bake that area for just a minute while I set the rest of my face. Now that that's done, we're going to want to go in and bring dimension back into our face so it doesn't look all bleh. Since this is a wedding tutorial, I'm going to be contouring today, because you want to make sure on your wedding day that your cheeks look snatched and beautiful and bronzed. So today for contour, I'm going to be using the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I would show you, but this looks I'm just going to show you. It looks disgusting though, because I've had this for a while, so and they're almost gone. But I just mix all three of them together and I just contour with that. Oh, I'm using the JH04 brush. Okay, now when I contour, I like to go a little bit above the ear, right here, and I like to leave most of the product back here, and then once I know no more product is left on my brush, I will start blending it upward and forward. The idea of contouring is you just want to make sure everything is lifted and sculpted. So if you blend downward, that will just defeat the purpose. So I start up here. Don't worry if it looks too harsh, because we're going to blend that out. Never go all the way to the mouth, because it will make you look it will make your face look too sunken in. Now, one of my friends the other day had asked me what the difference between a contour shade and a bronzing shade was. So I'm going to explain that to y'all now, just in case anyone else out there doesn't know. Contour shades are usually more neutral, cool toned, and bronzing shades are usually more warm, orangey tones. Also, most bronzing shades tend to have a little shimmer in them, whereas contour does not. It's just simply matte. And then I'm going to contour the jawline. To make it look nice and snatched. Do you know who has the perfect jawline? Like, no joke. Jared Haven from The Bachelorette. That guy has the most gorgeous jawline I think I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, so does Ashley, his wife. They just have such beautiful, gorgeous facial features that it's insane. Their babies are gonna be gorgeous. All right, so now we're gonna blend that all out with some bronzer. The bronzer I'm gonna be going in with is the TooFaced Chocolate Soleil bronzer with this Morphe R2 brush. You want to be bronzed. You want to be a bronzed goddess for your man. He's going to think he died and went to heaven. And then if you think you applied too much, you can just take your foundation sponge and lightly tap over that. It will help. Now it's time to go in with highlights, and the highlight I'm going to be using today is Anastasia, their glow kit. This is the sun dipped one. You want to make sure that you aren't overdoing it with your highlight. You don't want to be beaming necessarily. You just want, like I said, that glow from within. So we don't want to go in too heavily. Actually, you know what? First, I'm going to set my face because we just use a ton of powder. So I want to make sure that that melts into the skin. Also, when you go in with highlight after setting your face, it will show up better. So today I'm going to be going in with my Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. I'm going to let that dry for a few minutes. Okay, and then just when you think it's almost dry, that's when you go in with your highlight. The highlight I'm going to be using today is this one right here. This is in the shade Summer. I'm going to take that on my Morphe M530 brush and just put it on the high points of my face. Again, if you have big pores right around here like I do, you're going to want to avoid this area. I'm not taking any on my nose this time because, I don't know, to me, nose highlight does not look very flattering in pictures. Because I feel like it stands out the most. If you want to do a nose highlight, you go right ahead, girlfriend. It's your day. Alright. And then I'm just going to go over that to sink it into the skin with this damp beauty sponge. And then also, if you think you've applied too much, we're going to go in with blush now. So that's going to tame it even more. The blush that I'm going to be using is by Ofra Cosmetics. It's the one they did with Madison Miller. It's called Sweet Stuff. I thought it would look really pretty with this eye look. Now, another tip. Blush is always the first thing to disappear on the face. It is the first makeup product to go. I don't know why, but it's like that with everyone. So, to make sure that it stays on, you're going to want to put more on than you normally would. Now, you all know I hate blush. I don't hate it, but I don't like a lot of it. But we're going to go ham. We're going to go ham on it today. So I'm using the JH04. Now again, if you want some on the apples of your cheeks, that's fine. I don't like that, so I just bring it back here and sweep it towards the temple. Oh my god, that's a lot. I'm gonna take some on the nose. That's way too much. Okay, whatever. It is what it is. Last but not least is the lip. Now, another tip. You want something that's going to last a long time, so I suggest a long-lasting liquid lipstick. Kylie has good ones. ColourPop has good ones. Ofra has good ones. Just search and try different ones out. See which one works for you. Today I'm going to go in with the Kylie Cosmetics. This is her matte liquid lipstick in the shade One Wish. Okay, and then here's the finished look. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope that I helped you in some way. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and follow my social medias. I will have them in the description below. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!